Eugene, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you, JP.
And again, as we've noted, it's continuity and stability were two things that Deputy Prime Minister and soon-to-be Prime Minister Lawrence Wong has actually highlighted as some of the things that are going to guide his administration moving forward. But again, Singapore and running this country isn't exactly the easiest of jobs, actually. What are some of the big challenges that will face Lawrence Wong as he assumes the mantle of Prime Minister of Singapore in just about 11 hours?
Well, JP, I mean, Singapore is very much dependent on trade and investment. And in a global setting where the international rule-based multilateral system is breaking down, the challenge for Singapore, which thrives on being connected to globalization, that becomes a lot more pressing. So the ability to create that strategic space for Singapore economically, the ability to remake success for Singapore, it becomes very vital. Then, of course, there are the usual pain points: cost of living, concerns with public housing affordability and accessibility, concerns over job security and immigration. These are the sort of issues that the incoming Prime Minister will have to grapple with and provide assurance, that Singaporeans will be well taken care of. And of course, the final thing, another challenge, would be the need to manage the pace of political change, because that has been key in the PAP maintaining political dominance.
Right. Political change internally, but also there's a lot of external factors that Singapore has to manage, especially diplomatic relations. Now, Singapore has done a very impressive job over the last couple of decades of staying neutral and not being pulled by one way or the other depending on political tensions. But it's becoming a more polarized world where you're seeing two powers, let's just say the US and China, both trying to jockey and trying to get people to be on their side. Just how much trickier is it going to be for Lawrence Wong and his party to try and make sure that Singapore's voice is not drowned out by this polarization, and that they can at least maintain the status quo between these two, the rising tensions between the two of their more important economic and diplomatic partners?
No, it is a major strategic challenge because you are seeing in Southeast Asia, Singapore's backyard, being the proxy theater in which both, that superpower rivalry is playing out. And Singapore has very good relations with both China and the United States. So, for example, Singapore is the largest investor in China, and China is Singapore's largest trading partner. We have significant American MNCs in Singapore as well. So the need to navigate, to tread very carefully, but at the same time, giving Singapore the strategic autonomy to operate, to maintain our independence and sovereignty, that becomes a key challenge. And Singapore has thrived because of the security umbrella, that peace and prosperity that's been provided to a large extent, by America. So it becomes important, and we will have to take sides, come what may. For example, if let's say China were to invade Taiwan, and so the challenge becomes for Singapore to be able to maintain good ties, even as we take principled positions on some of these very complex issues.